Hello and welcome to tonight's class from Rivstart A1, A2. A special welcome to Andrea, my good friend. And for anyone else who is listening in to this recording from tonight, it's the beginning of May 2021. We are going to discuss the Swedish substantiv or noun in the singular form, decisive and undecisive form. If you have your books with you, Rivstart, please turn to page 33. 33. Here we're going to see how a noun is behaving in Swedish. I'm going to share my screen with you now so you can see this little Word document. We're going to discuss tonight or today, depending on when you see this, substantive. Substantive, or in English, noun. First, we're focusing on singular. There is also, of course, a plural form, but first, let's clear out the singular form. In Swedish and in English, we first talk about obestämd form, or the undecisive form. When I don't know what I want to get, or I talk about things in general. Let's say you want to borrow a pen from a colleague. Kan jag få låna en penna? It doesn't matter if the pen is red or blue or green, you just want a pen. And of course, then your colleague will ask, do you want the red one or the blue one? And then you can make your mind up and say, jag vill ha den penna, using your index finger and, den penna. You have made your mind up. Notice then what's happening to the noun in a singular undecisive form, en penna. Basically, we take this article en and put it here towards the end of the word. So penna becomes penna, and the n we are getting from the article en. You can see this even clearer if we take another noun, ett annat substantiv, nämligen en stol, a chair. Let's say you go to IKEA or your favorite furniture house and you need to buy a chair for your house or your office. You don't know if you're going to get a blue chair, a red chair, or a wooden chair, or a metal chair. You're just interested in a chair, or in Swedish, en stol. So generally speaking, you haven't made your mind up, you're undecisive or obestämd. You go to IKEA and there you look, you ask the salesman and they show you some nice chairs and you take a look at them and finally you make your mind up and you say, jag vill ha den stolen. I want that chair. So you come in with the thought of wanting a chair, and once you made your mind up, it's that chair. Notice then how this article en from in front of the word chair, stol, it flies over and comes towards the end. So stol en. And the article, what we use for the indecisive form, is either en or et, depending if the article is en with the word or et. A little rule of thumb, about 70% of all the articles in Swedish, or 2/3, 70%, would use the article en. So if you're not sure what article to use, go with en. Okay? And then once you made your mind up and want to talk about the object or the noun, the substantive in the decisive form, as in the English, that pen or that chair, then you need to go with either den or det. Of course, depending on den, if it's an N word, ens penna, den pennan, ens stol, den stolen. If you now for some reason stumble across a noun, it's substantive with article ett, like ett äpple, an apple, then you notice how the T from the article ett flies over and hooks up at the end of the word, so making it äpplet, an article then det, as we have here, det, because it's ett äpple. Ett äpple, singular, undecisive. Decisive form, det äpplet. Okay. We have some more words. Ett hus, a house. That house, det huset. Here we take even the ENT for pronunciation's sake. Try to read out the word hust, hust, hust. It's not so easy to pronounce that. So therefore, some wise person has decided it's huset. En banan, clear, en flies over to n at the end, and we use another article, so den bananen. Imagine you go into ICA or Coop or grocery store, and you say, I want that banana over there, that green one, the hard one. That's the one I like. Or if you prefer the softer, sweeter, more yellow ones, you point, I want that banana. Den bananen vill jag ha. En kniv, den kniven. Ett barn, a child, that child. Kniv, by the way, means a knife. Let's see if you can fill out the missing, or fill out the missing ending, the missing suffix, or turn this from undecisive form into decisive form. If I say ett glas, a glass, how would you write that in decisive form? I give you a second to think. Ett glas. So what article shall we use in decisive form or specific form? Well, det. Yeah, that's right. And then we continue to build with GLAS. And then what happens now? Do you know? Det glaset. Correct. Det glaset. Let's take one more, this time with the article en. En bok. You go into a beautiful library or a bookshop and you want to order or borrow a book. You don't know exactly what book you want. You're not sure about what book you want. Finally, you say, here we have this beautiful Swedish book about substantiv, nouns. I want to borrow or buy that book. How would you turn en bok into that book in Swedish? En bok. It was something up here. Okay, obviously it has to be den. Okay, and the word is book, bok, and then den boken. Correct. We go down. You don't need to put too much focus on this at this moment or at this stage when we're on page 33 in the book Rivstart. But if you want to continue to move on with plural, the basic still applies. We have the general or undecisive form or the decisive form. Here we don't deal with articles, but we use with numbers, 2, 3, 50. And in the decisive form, we use simply det. I scroll up a bit so we can compare now. Ett barn, det barnet in singular, a child, that child. How many children do you have? Well, I have 2 children. This is of course a little special one because you see it doesn't change the form from singular to plural. So this is an exception. But in plural decisive form, we discover a new form previously not seen, and it is de barnen, those kids. A bit further up, we have the example with a pen, en penna, den pennan. This is perhaps one of the best examples because it's very clear that in plural we have två, not penna, but två pennor, or as a suffix. And in decisive form, those pens, de pennorna. So we just keep building and building and building until we're happy with the substantive form, the form of the noun. We again had the example with the chairs, en stol, den stolen, a chair, that chair. In plural, I want to get 3 chairs, I'm not sure which ones, men 3 stol AR, and once I made my mind up, I want to get those chairs, de stolarna. So if you continue to look in the plural form, you notice some examples how the noun behaves, or, are, en, orna, arna, na, or sometimes even no suffix at all. But for today, we are focusing on substantive, singular, and the 2 forms. And on page 33, you'll see a little collection up here in the green box. And you also see how you can sort them out in decisive and undecisive form, using then the text on page 31, Renates dag. Renates dag. I'm going to read the text quite slowly, and you can follow along as I read if you have the book with you on page 31. And your task now would be to complete the exercise on page 33J. It says, stryk under alla substantiv i Renates dag. Är det bestämd eller obestämd form? Och skriv en lista med båda formerna. Exempel, obestämd form, en pensionär, en klocka, en frukost. Bestämd form, den pensionären, den klockan, den frukosten. So here goes. Renates dag. Renate är en mycket aktiv pensionär. Hon vaknar alltid klockan 6 och stiger upp direkt. Klockan 6:30 äter hon frukost. Efter frukosten tar hon bussen till stan. Hon har en danskurs mellan 10 och 12. Renate dansar Lindy Hop. Hon älskar dans. Efter dansen är hon mycket hungrig förstås. Klockan 1 prick träffar hon en väninna och de äter lunch på en liten restaurang i stan. Idag äter Renate en stor biff med pommes frites och bearnaisesås. Renate promenerar hem efter lunchen. Det tar nästan 1 timme. På eftermiddagen skriver Renate ett mejl till en vän i USA. Hon berättar om livet i Sverige. Sedan tar hon en liten tupplur i soffan. Klockan 7:30 äter Renate middag. Efter middagen diskar hon och spelar lite piano. Pianot är en present från Klaus, Renates son. Sedan tittar hon på TV. Klockan 10 börjar Renates favoritprogram. Det heter Familjen. Sedan lyssnar hon på musik och chattar med en väninna i Tyskland. Vid 12 är hon mycket trött. Hon går och lägger sig och somnar direkt. So, did you already on the run get a chance to underline all the nouns? Take your time and go through the text one more time. You can pause this recording and do it for yourself. And then you can email me the answers, or just the next time we see each other, we can go through it together. A good exercise for you to do until the next time we see or meet each other would be on page 33 in the textbook, exercise K. It has the task berätta om Anjas dag. So tell about Anja's day. And as we see here in the first picture, it's like Anja wakes up. She drinks perhaps a glass of water. She has breakfast at 1:15 and reads the magazine. And at 4 o'clock, she meets a friend at a cafe and they drink some coffee together, and so on. Try to relate this text in Swedish. And you can do it first just by talking about the text. It's good if you have a partner. Even if you don't have a partner, it's good that you try to speak and talk about these 6 pictures in Swedish. Try to make sentences and describe what you see in the pictures. You notice that she's a late starter. She wakes up at 1300 hours or 1 p.m. But you will see from pictures 4 and 5 the reason to that. Just help you with an example for the first picture. You see it there on page 33 in the gray box. Anja vaknar klockan 1 och stiger upp direkt. Hon är jättetrött. Sedan, what happens then? It's up to you to describe. Finally, on page 33L, it says skriv en text om Anjas dag. So write a text about Anja's day. That's a good exercise to do until next time we meet and see each other. And if you are up for writing, and if you have some time at hand, I can also recommend page 34. Sorry, page 35 it is. Page 35. It's the end of our chapter here. And as always, by the end of each chapter, we have an exercise that's helping us to put into practice what we discussed in this chapter. And here it says skriv. Skriv en text om en dag i ditt liv. Write a text about a day in your life. You can also fantasize about a famous person's day. Kontrollera att ordföljden är rätt. Control that the order of words is correct. So if you write about your own day or you fantasize about a famous person, it's up to you. On the picture there we have 3 somewhat famous persons. Do you recognize them? Johnny Depp, Madonna, and our Swedish princess Madeline. And with this little go through and encouraging words to my students out there, if you complete that, next time we'll be starting and moving on with chapter 4 about how to buy and make purchases. So thank you very much for watching and listening. Good luck with your Swedish studies. And in case you have any questions, thoughts, or want some more information, you're welcome always to email me at danielring77@gmail.com. So I repeat, danielring77@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Vi ses nästa gång. Ha det bra. Hej då!